here's something that I've thought about for a period of time, and one of those times, and many of those times, those thinks that I've had, which made a thunk. I have spoken about it before in video messages that I probably haven't posted. I know I probably haven't posted, but in essence of all of them, this is what I meant. And that would be, let me tell you a story. A story, and then at the end of it, what it is. That is the moral of that story, right? Just a few years back, there was an Australian fella. It's an Australian guy. He's Australian, but he's not Australian. He's not like Australians. He's not like fucking Australians at all. Because I've been to Australia and I've met a fuck of a lot of classic Australians. If you wonder what Australia is, you haven't heard of it, of course you've heard of it. It's a big burning rock of sand and Australians. Let's get back to this story. So this Australian came into my country, came into Aotearoans, around my people. He even came to the place where I lived. He was here working in my city, but I wasn't here. I was in another place, making it safer for a whole bunch of Queenstowners. But that is not to say that if I saw him, that I'd know, because he didn't go off any indications apparently. And if he did in what he did, and any other Kiwi knew and just said as a result to the police investigation that I just thought he was joking. I just thought they were joking. Understand something. We all watch a lot of true crime, and that is the number one answer given to anyone that is told something of value, of reference, that thinks that they can just say something like, I thought he was joking. It's like the same as saying, I was just doing my job. Any other of my people knew or had any indication of what he's going to do and thinks they can use that excuse, I would like to awaken you from your dream and tell you that is not how it goes. And we will get there. So this Australian guy comes into my country, Aotearoans, my people, lives here amongst us, amongst the beauty of my people. And then one day he puts this J for Genius plan into motion and drives on up to fucking Christchurch and murders 50 of my people. This Australian fella murders 50 of my people. And it's your own. Wounded 50 more. Oh yeah. Oh, he did fantastic. And his fucking plan. Laughing all the way to fucking some white supremacist heaven. Not yet. And we'll get to that too. He murdered 50 of my people. Savagely. Helped bring so much horror, horrificness to all of those Kiwis and their whānaus. All of those Kiwis that were wounded. Man, woman, child. From this fucking Australian fuck.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Well,
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the attacks in Christchurch, New Zealand. Now, police in New Zealand are urging people to stay off the streets after mass shootings at 2 mosques in the city of Christchurch. At least 49 people are dead, many others seriously wounded. This happened around
the horrific terror attack that unfolded in New Zealand overnight. Not one, but 2 mosques in Christchurch were targeted, the country's worst mass shooting ever. At least 49 people were killed and dozens wounded during services. They were in prayer. The mosques are just 3 miles apart. The victims who did get out covered in blood were rushed to the hospital. The gunman, who wrote of white nationalism, was armed with at least 2 semi-automatic weapons and 2 rifles. Many of the survivors barely escaping, scaling walls to get through windows, police racing to the scene, officers chasing down the suspect who was dressed in army fatigues.
Tonight, chaos and shock. Unimaginable horror after a deadly anti-Muslim terror attack on 2 separate mosques in New Zealand. At least 49 worshippers dead, 48 more injured. Witnesses tonight described the terror when the first shots rang out.
It was 1:42 when the gun started shooting.
Witnesses say a gunman wearing all black, clad in a helmet and a bulletproof vest, entered the Al-Noor Mosque in the city of Christchurch. He then ruthlessly opened fire during a packed Friday prayer service. A video has surfaced appearing to show the suspect live streaming his vicious attack in graphic detail, a video we will not show here. The gunman moves from room to room, firing his automatic weapon for some 6 minutes, killing at least 41 men, women, and children in the first mosque. The video then appears to show the gunman driving to the next target, the Linwood Mosque, 3 miles away. 7 more victims were murdered as armed police swarmed the scene, running, guns drawn. In this video posted on social media, a police vehicle seen having just rammed this car off the road. 2 officers, guns pointed towards the vehicle. Moments later, the officers making an arrest. The suspect, seen here, his image blurred in court, arrested and charged with murder. In his late 20s, originally from Australia, IEDs were also found. This is a rambling, hate-filled message was posted online around the time of the attack, purported to be written by the suspect. In it, praising Norwegian mass murderer Anders Behring and American Dylan Roof, who killed 9 people in the Charleston church attack in 2015, saying he'd been planning the attack for 2 years, has sent his condolences and spoken with New Zealand's Prime Minister.
I told the Prime Minister that the United States is with them all the way. 100%, whatever they need, we will be there.
Tonight, New Zealand in mourning. The country has never seen a major terror attack before. So many of the victims, refugees escaping terror in war elsewhere.
They have chosen to make New Zealand their home, and it is their home. They are us. The person who has perpetuated this violence against us is not.
And you might think to yourself, why would Australian go there? Why would you do in Australia? It's because, in his mind, those Kiwis, those fucking Kiwis, they didn't seem to have our kind of problems at all. Once those people come into your country, you're meant to protect them, look after them, because they, out of the whole fucking world that they could go live in, somehow, they had the smarts, the graciousness, and maybe even the God to say, go live there, man. Those guys are pretty cool. Oh, I rank my country, my people. That is why. It's Australian fella who did that. And our boys in blue, they got him, ran him down in the car, smacked him over. I mean, like cuffed him.
That person was not willing to be arrested. Again, I think you've probably seen some of that live video. There was live audio coming back to my command centre in Wellington of that apprehension. And I can tell you, as I was listening to that, the person was non-compliant.
And took that Australian into custody.
Early this morning, police say the man accused of opening fire on worshippers at 2 mosques will face 50 murder charges and 39 attempted murder charges.
And all of my people bled. All of them. The rage. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You've seen me Oh, you've seen me get annoyed and this rage. This type of rage. This Australian fella went to prison. And he said, the reason why he didn't do it in Australia, reason why he didn't do it in Australia is because of us. Because he knew that if he did it in just one country, this country, around our people, that the whole world would look and go, look, that threat is even a terror there. That threat is even a terror there. Because he knew that there isn't going to be people, not Aotearoans, not Kiwis, not in my country, that don't understand that fucking rule. Same rules as in your whare. Respect all. All is equal. Mana is everything. So this guy they arrested, they put him inside as my country bled. Bled. Because of this who obviously did not put like one and one together correctly. Because out of all of the countries you could have done that in, you fucking clown, you did it in mine. My Aotearoa, right? So this clown goes to court, and I'm waiting on clown, I'm waiting on clown, with this manifesto to go there and say, I want to look at all of the disclosure, I want to see the videos that I took. I want to show everyone the carnage that I did, making it all so horrifically horrible for all of these Aotearoans, these Kiwis, these New Zealanders. I want to hurt these people.
Yes, Mr. Peters. Please, Your Honour, Peters. I'm appearing as duty lawyer. There will be no applications made, sir. And for the sake of clarity, there will be no application for bail, no application for the suppression of the defendant's name.
You are remanded without plea. Next appearance will be in the Christchurch High Court on 5 April 2019.
Mr. Crown Prosecutor, have you a charge list to present to this court?
Your Honour, please, I have a Crown charge list on 51 charges of murder, 40 of attempted murder and 1 of engaging in a terrorist act.
You are separately in charges of 1 to 15 of the Crown charge list, charged that on the 15th day of March 2019 at Christchurch. To each of these charges, charge 1 to 51, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Yes, guilty.
You are further separately charged in charges 52 to 91 that on the 15th day of March 2019 at Christchurch, you did attempt to murder. To each of these charges, charge 52 to 91, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You are remanded in custody through to the nominal date of 1 May 2020 at 9:15 a.m, by which time it is anticipated a date for your sentencing will be able to be confirmed.
Right, so he goes to prison, doesn't do his manifesto, he pleads guilty.
Guilty.
He pleads guilty. And I thought, whoa, that's crazy. You plead guilty, you didn't go, you're not a B.R.A.W.L, you're not some other piece of filth that did this in someone else's country. I couldn't believe justice for B.R.A.W.L. Country. Even they are beautiful too. They are a beautiful country too. When that mental psychiatric patient B.R.A.W.L did what he did, and what it is that would be right for the guy that did that to my people, to our people. Oh man. So I've thought in a lot of things about what I would do to him. But but I've got to take into consideration I may not know as much as what lots of other people do, right? What does that mean? It's like, well, the punishment must fit the crime for this fucking genius. The Utu, the balance must be paid. So what kind of payment needs to be made to us about what would be justice and justice? And then I thought, that thunk that I have, and I thought with those things, that thunk, that is the only thing that I can imagine that they put in front of did that to all of us to make him plead guilty, because part of his plan that he could finish is going to court, open court. Even though there would be a battle on the cameras, they definitely wouldn't show all the bad shit, but they would show the reactions of the people that were watching it. And I don't want my people to see that at all. None of them. And he knows that would have hurt as well. You see, he didn't take into plan about meeting enough Aotearoans, other Kiwi boys and girls. Because what would make him stop? What would make someone like him, like a B.R.A.W.L, like a piece of filth, like a skinny, scrawny piece of filth, what a dumbass fucking plan. What a fucking tool. What would make the guy that hurt all of my people so badly, what could they have offered him, right? What could they have said to him? I'll offer you, because we don't have the death penalty. We don't have that type of justice here. No, we don't. Not the new gods. Not the new gods. I believe in the old gods too. I do indeed. So what would be the Utu? What would be the Utu? Long and hard I thought. Because you see, we don't have the death penalty. What we do have, and I think it's one of the first times I've ever brought it in, is for this type of crime is preventative detention. So like he's never getting out. He's like never getting out. And that is like the smartest thing. The smartest thing that they could come up with, so that the whole wide world, our species, wouldn't see what? The thunk, which is the same thing, because it is the gravity of like, okay, that would do it. Is that he was going to take it to court, and then he decided not to. So what was the offer they made him? And I have to think it was probably the thunk. And what would that thunk be? It would be, I would have went in there with just a couple of friends of mine, sat down at that table and said, bro, your plan, you think in your head is gone to plan, but you just haven't taken all of the variables within the environment into that calculation, because you think that your little bit of study on Crown law and New Zealand's like really liberal, you know, like they're okay with this and they're okay with that, and at least I don't get put to death, and you know, because I'm just going to kill all these Kiwis. I'll just go to prison for a bit, maybe get a life or something, get out in 30 years, write a book, sit down and jerk off all over again. Well, that plan of yours, didn't take into these variables, because I would have went in and said, listen, cunt, this is what you're going to do, because this is what is happening. And I'm really, really, really hoping for B. And he goes, B what? And I says, well, first I'll tell you A. Not really an option, but the only ones that you have left to take. and that is you're going to plead guilty, you're going to receive consecutive, and then you're going to get preventative, so you're never getting out, ever. And then he would go, like, get fucked, and make him even dig down harder on going to court and making people suffer more, my people suffer more. Their whānaus from overseas suffering more. So many people. Which brings me to B. You say, no way, Jose, that's not going to happen. With that smirk on your face. And I would say to you, oh, by the way, here comes B. All this is what we're going to do. We're going to say, right, go through it, go to court, you go to prison. Once you're in prison, you be put in a cell. You see, and in that cell, it'll be housed within a unit, and in that unit, my country, and our prison systems, we have gangs. And listen, cunt, you obviously haven't run into many of them, but they are in prison. They are our gangs. And what they're going to do is every 2 weeks they're going to move a gang into that housing unit where you are, and you're going to live with them, and you're going to live. But you see what B is, and B for you is bad, is that they're allowed to do whatever it is that they believe Utu should be from that gang, over a period of 2 weeks, right? And then we're going to move them out, and we'll give you 2 weeks to recover. And then we're going to bring the next gang in. And the thing is, bro, we have a lot of gangs. And they're unlike any other gangs you would have ever known. And that's not to say other countries don't have fucking mean gangs, bro. That's like don't fucking mean gangs that look real fucking mean and evil. You know, I've seen Seacott. You know, those guys, they don't mean. You know, like you're thinking, yeah, man, bet they can scrap. The difference is, and I'll show you from the first group of gentlemen that he shall meet inside, that you will meet inside. Yeah. I will show you just a glimpse of what our gangs look like, because the first gang that gets him, I say, give him to the mob. Give him to the mongrel mob. 2 weeks. They can't kill him, can't blind him. You can't tetraplegic, paraplegic, it's all out, right? You're not allowed to. And this rules if there was to this game that we're just playing every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. The rule is at the end of that, when the next guys come in, and that, tie close up, you admit the mob, holy shit, because the very next gang that you're going to meet, the very next bunch of Aotearoans that just happen to be gang members, and, it's the life of a gang member. When they're in prison, those Aotearoans, the next ones will be who we call the blacks. Bro, they get you for 2 weeks. They get you for 2 weeks too. And then 2 weeks to repair, and there'll be people there to help you repair. And then the next ones, that will be Utu for you, cunt, unless you plead guilty. Manifesto, videos, any more of this shit. What's even better is you're going to come and sit down and say absolutely fucking nothing. And our people, the whānaus, are going to come in, and you are going to feel mana. Feel Aotearoan mana.
You shot at defenceless people that were not aware of what was going on until they knew it was too late. Your actions were a gutless character of a person. There's nothing heroic about your shooting people from behind and people not having a chance of defending themselves. I do not forgive you for what you have done. But while you are in prison, you will come to reality that you are now in hell, and only the fire awaits you. Your father was a garbage man, and you became trash of society. He is ashamed of your identity. You deserve to be buried in a landfill. This world was created with colour. A peasant like you will never change the human race. Your wish is to make this world a racist cult of one colour, but you will never succeed. I ask from you, Your Honour, that this scum of the world never be allowed to walk free from prison in his lifetime, to never be able to set an example for those who follow in his steps. I ask that he be put in mainstream prison and stop wasting taxpayer money on giving him special treatment and protection. And coming back to this maggot, I would like to say that my 71-year-old dad would have broke you in half if you challenged him to a fight. But you are weak. A sheep with a wolf's jacket on for only 10 minutes of your whole life. I'm strong, and you made me even stronger.
May you get the severest punishment for your evil act in this life and in the hereafter. And you thought you can break us. You failed miserably. Allah is gone, but never forgotten. He will always be the light of our lives, and we will live his legacy every day. Oh my Lord, honor Ata the way that he has dignified me and obeyed me in my old age.
I want to smell his garden sauce cooking. His cologne. I want to hear his voice. I want to hear my dad's voice. My Baba's voice.
There are your choices, A and B. Well, looks like he chose A because he didn't testify. Because I don't know what else you could possibly say to someone that has such a psychiatric disorder that is so screwed up in the head. That is what I believe that thunk in regards to B, in regards to getting the worthless, gutless, manless, that they offered him A or B. And as you can see, I'm a big believer in B. So before I wrap up this little lesson, this little message, this little exercise and experience, and this walkabout on this beautiful day, when it comes to that thing, there's just a couple of things left I wanted to make sure I push that button down clearly. And the first one is that I really so want there to be a B and the U2 that must be paid. For how can it be that we can rest easy when there's an Utu like that must be paid, that has to be collected, right? Oh, option B. And here's the thing about it, is that he took A, taking A, and being safe from B, as you can see. But you see, he should have read the fine print, right? Because every contract has fine print. And in the fine print of those details, it is that B can become A if certain things happen. And one of those things is that he would go for an appeal.
The March 15 terrorist has told the Court of Appeal his mental health deteriorated in prison, and one of his major stresses was that he wasn't given enough books to read.
He's in the same prison he now says caused him an irrational mind, which led him to plead guilty.
To acknowledge the presence of victims and families who are watching this hearing remotely in Wellington and Christchurch.
You met your lawyers many times between March 2019 and July 2020.
Is that a question?
Yes.
The Australian mass murderer, now aged 35, killed 51 worshippers and injured 40 others on March 15, 2019. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. He now wants to vacate those pleas, which, if successful, would mean a full retrial. He's also appealing his life sentence. The terrorist is housed in the Specialist Prisoners of Extreme Risk unit at Auckland Prison and has little interaction with other people, including fellow prisoners. Crown lawyer Barnaby Hawes pointed out that his claims of poor mental health and an irrational mind were not backed up in any reports from psychologists, his lawyers or corrections staff. The hearing is set down for a week. For the families, the proceedings were hard to watch.
Quite frankly, I think for him it's a bit of a game. I don't seem to see any change in character over the years at all.
An attack by a man who now says his guilty pleas were in part affected by being alone for so long and not having enough books to read.
So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to make sure. I'm going to make fucking dead sure that this gutless, worthless, mannerless prick understands understands that when you do that to my people, my Aotearoa, my people, the Kiwis, and this is what I'm going to do with this little lesson, this little episode, this message. I'm going to send this to all of the gangs in Aotearoa and just ask them only but one simple question. Are you in? Are you in? I'll let you know which gangs, really fucking full-on gangs of our boys here in Aotearoa gave the thumbs up. That's what I'll do. So that's one of the things that I want to make sure that he and every motherfucker out there that's a motherfucker like that knows.
If I'm not human, what am I?